In the history of mankind, there has been no greater plague than the plague of war. Wars between nations, wars between belief sets, races, genders, and ourselves. It is in our nature as human beings to create beautiful things that will stand the test of time, just as much as it is in our nature to destroy everything we come into contact with. In the modern world, we have the advantage of learning from the mistakes of past generations that had the misfortune of not being able to learn from a destructive past, but we have chosen to squander this knowledge with our ignorance. Ignorance towards the consequences that come from waging war for the purpose of using extremes to make extreme statements. Statements about things the select few do not like or choose to not understand. With blind rage, leaders of free nations across the world have chosen to use their power to waste billions of dollars on wars against invisible monsters that have been built up to be more gargantuan than they really are. Wars against terror, drugs, alcohol, and the free will of consenting adults have given people in positions of power what they feel is the right to chip away at agreements made centuries ago between the people of free nations and governments of nation states that claim to represent the ideals of liberty and freedom. It is the ability of the people to allow this to happen that has created an epidemic responsible for killing millions of people and making problems governments across the world are trying to correct that much worse. Prisons are now stretched beyond their limits. Communities across the world have been decimated from the effects of urban warfare, and the problems of addiction to alcohol, prescription, and illegal drugs have become a harsh reality on every corner of the globe. The problem with wars that are going nowhere have very little to do with legalities, amendments, and the rights of elected representatives to act in the interest of the people they took an oath to serve. The problem with wars that are going nowhere have everything to do with the willingness of the people to stand up to the things that are wrong with a system that pumps billions of dollars into unwinnable efforts that ultimately strip away freedoms expressly given to the people. When we choose to look at the problem from this point of view, there can be a conversation about creating change before it's too late. Until then, we are doing nothing more than watching the hard work of men and women that fought for liberty crumble from underneath our feet with the false belief that the obstruction of freedom will never come to our doorstep.